So if I was gonna have 3 guests, I would probably have the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, I would have Michael Scott, and I would have Frodo Baggins.
Why?
Because they're all famous.
Okay.
The Queen, obviously, Queen Lizzie. My little sister Rue, she's hilarious, and Mother Teresa, she's still alive.
I'm going to take a historical approach on this. I would want to talk with Benjamin Franklin, because I also like to fly kites. George Washington, just to get to the bottom of what happened with that tree scenario, and Jesus.
Paul McClure, Josh Baldwin, and Gabe Valenzuela. It's just gonna be a good time. It's really funny, lots of jokes.
Idris Elba, just because he has a really cool accent and kind of a scratchy voice, so it would be easy to just let him talk to enjoy listening to him. Second would be Jimmy Fallon, because you know, he's always hosting, he probably needs a break, wants to sit on the couch for a change. I can take the chair, that would be fun. And my mom, because I love my mom. She's very wise.
If we had our own talk show, who would be our first 3 guests and why?
I would say Christopher Walken, but I don't even need him to be a guest.
Wow, holy cow, you guys. I think I'd go with Paul McCartney. Be a pretty good one.
Solid.
The Beatles are pretty okay. No, we're huge Beatles fans.
Yeah, huge Beatles fans. I'd probably say Michael Jordan. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, he is one of the greatest basketball players of all time, so I guess that's a good one too.
If I had my own talk show, I think my first 3 guests would have to be Bear Grylls, because I mean, the awesome things he does, you know, and I'd be fascinated to ask him sort of his story about becoming very famous, family, kids, how he does life with faith and stuff like that. I'd love to interview Chris Martin from Coldplay. I think that would be awesome, just to find out where he's come from, why when he sings, do stadiums come alive? And I'd like to ask him the question, why does he think that happens? Then I'd like to interview Michelle Obama and just see what it was like being the wife of the President of America, and all the pressures along with that, bringing kids up, being in the limelight. And so I think that would make a pretty awesome show.
Hey Ariel, if you had your own talk show, what would be the first 3 guests you'd have and why?
I would say Nelson Mandela, Oprah Winfrey, and my father, because they all have something good to say.
Would be John Lennon, Steve Jobs, maybe the Apostle Peter. You know, reason being, John Lennon, of all the Beatles, had this really crazy point in his career towards the end of his life where he kept appearing on, he was on a lot of talk shows. So, and he just was a really good interview. He was really interesting. You have no idea what the guy was going to talk about, but he's still like a creative genius. Steve Jobs, because I think it would be amazing to interview him now about the effects that the technology that he helped create has had on society. And I think the Apostle Peter, because to be able to get a first-hand human account. I mean, we have the scriptures, but just to be able to get into the human dynamic of what it was like to spend every day of 3 years with Jesus. And not so much like the big stuff that he did, but it's like all the little side conversations.